Hi, this is Andrew Moore Crispin for campgear.tv, and today we're doing a boil test with 500 milliliters of water, 2 cups of water at at ambient temperature. Today it's about 10 degrees outside. We're going to be using the Vargo titanium hexagon wood stove as both our pot stand and our windshield. We're also going to be using a Trangia alcohol stove that you can see here. This is actually in a previous configuration. The way I used to use this thing, I would actually sit the stove inside this little fold-down pot stand. Take off the top here. You have access to the alcohol to light. The pot sits nicely on top there, pretty sturdy. And then I would use the windshield, like I showed you in a previous episode. We did a DIY, how to make a $1 windshield. Just kind of wraps around the bottom here and does make a pretty reliable little cook set. And everything, including the stove, including this pot stand, nests back inside this pot along with 2 cups, 2 bowls, and an implement to light the alcohol stove. But today we're going to be trying the Trangia, which I've had pretty good luck with out in the field. We're going to be using this thing inside the Vargo titanium hexagon wood stove. So I'll take this apart, throw that out of there. Hopefully I won't be needing that thing anymore. We'll take our titanium wood stove out here. Put the package off to the side. So if you've seen previous campgear.tv videos, or if you've just had a look at this thing online, quite a few videos out there doing burn tests. We've done a couple burn tests in here. I don't think I'm going to be using it for wood unless I absolutely have to in the future, just given all the dirt and mess. But you do see this patina in here, and that's actually from using an alcohol stove inside this thing, using the Vargo Hexagon as both the windshield and pot stand. First things first though, I'm going to load up. This is just, what is this, about 6 ounces, I think, of alcohol. I have marine alcohol currently in the stove. I'm just going to throw in some of this, which is fondue fuel. So I find you can buy a liter of this fondue fuel at many dollar stores for, as you might imagine, $1. So now we're going to have to actually build the titanium wood stove around this alcohol stove in order to be able to fit it in the door. Put that in there. Continue folding this thing down. A little bit hairy given all the alcohol that's in there. We don't want to have a mishap. But there we have it. So now we have our alcohol stove nesting nicely inside our Vargo titanium hexagon wood stove. And we'll come back when I've actually poured the water in and we're ready to start the boil. Alright, so here we go. We've got some flame coming out of the jets on the side here. You'll see this is fondue fuel, as I mentioned, so it's not the cleanest burn. I'm going to do, for my own research purposes, I'm going to do this with marine alcohol as well, which is a much cleaner burning alcohol. Maybe a little bit too much water in the Trangia. We also have to consider that there was a little bit of alcohol left in there from last season, and it actually sat in there all winter. So anyway, we'll close the door on this thing. Take our pot, stick it on the top, and hit start on our timer. And then we're going to check in occasionally and see how the process is actually going till we get a full rolling boil. And so the first thing I'm noticing here, not sure how well this is going to come across on camera, but we actually do have a nice flame bloom happening outside of the titanium wood stove here. We're about a minute and 45 seconds in. Now, I am noticing if it's a nice still day today, but if it was windy, I think this might actually be a bit of an issue. So I would still want to keep my my windshield handy, just in case I want to kind of wrap this around the edge of the pot and you know, keep the wind out that way. So we could do that just like this if we wanted to. Just give it enough space to get to bloom around the edge of the thing. And I'm also noticing I might actually want to have a slightly taller windshield in this case. So this one is basically perfectly configured to actually nest around my pot inside this little carry case that came with the pot. So anyway, just something to consider. But we'll continue the boil here at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll check in as we start to actually get some action happening inside the pot. So the door was closed up until this point, but like I mentioned, bit of a dirty looking flame in here. It's kind of orange, but it is clean on the bottom of the pot, and we do actually already have some action starting to happen at the top. We're 5 minutes in. The water is very, very hot to the touch, and we have some steam starting to come out of the vents on the top of the pot here. All right, so that's just under 6 minutes in. This thing's been boiling for probably about 10 seconds. It actually caught me by surprise because it was so quick. So we can see inside the pot we have a nice rolling boil going on. That's a pretty good way to make some morning coffee, I would argue. Even with not exactly the cleanest flame in the world, we got a nice boil going. And that was 500 milliliters of water, 2 cups of water at ambient temperature, which today is 9 degrees, 10 degrees, something like that. But anyway, there we have it, a nice rolling boil. I think this thing is going to definitely make its way into my kit. I'm a little disappointed that it's not going to actually nest inside my pot and my cook set, but really a small price to pay given how flat it folds down. So there you have it. That is the Trangia stove inside the Vargo titanium wood stove. Vargo titanium hexagon wood stove, boiling 500 mils of water, ambient temperature 9 or 10 degrees in under 6 minutes, probably honestly around 5:45, maybe even 5:40. For more great camp gear reviews, news, helpful how-tos, visit campgear.tv. Until next time, I'm Andrew Moore-Crispin. Thanks for watching. Just a little addendum to the Vargo titanium hexagon wood stove using the Trangia alcohol stove inside. I was wondering how it would actually perform if I were to try and put the simmer ring on. So you do have to choose kind of the level of your simmer, so you have to have a bit of familiarity with your stove, with your wood-burning stove before you actually try this. But we can slide the simmer ring on there. We could also just snuff it out if we wanted to. But if we're careful like this, we can actually slide the simmer ring on and get a bit of a simmer happening. So that is possible, that is doable. If we, let's see here. Yeah, so if we can get down here, just be 1 second while I try and reconfigure the camera, we'll actually see the thing simmering. I'll pull down and show you that. Alright, so there we see the Trangia alcohol stove simmering. If we'd have selected, like I said, we have to select the actual simmer level we want to use before we try and put this thing in. It's going to be very difficult to adjust. We can get a little bit of adjustment here, but like I say, it's going to be quite difficult. So if you know your stove and you know it well, you'll know approximately what kind of simmer level you need to have, bearing in mind the distance from the pot to the stove itself. So if we have a look in here, we do have a nice little simmer happening, and I'm assuming this thing will simmer for, just fogged up the lens. This thing will simmer for quite some time. The stove was still going strong when I threw the simmer lid on. So anyway, just something to consider.